We are about to embark upon a series of strange and exciting, dangerous adventures. Adventures that will lead us to all parts of the world.
Hello and welcome to another Bad Comic Review. This time we're looking at Batman, the Joker Warzone issue 1. This is a one-shot from DC Comics from 2020, and it's a tie-in to the Joker War. And it is really just an anthology with a lot of sneak peek storylines. And that's kind of a mixed bag. Now the first one has the Joker visiting Bane at Arkham Asylum, and kind of recapping what Bane did over the course of the Tom King Bane storyline in Batman, which I absolutely hated Tom King's work on Batman. I thought he did more damage to Batman than anyone since the 50s or 60s when it was super goofy. But this was by James Tynion IV. Gilliam March was the artist. Tomi Mori colors. Clayton Cowles letters. Ben Oliver, who did the cover. The cover's pretty creepy. Doesn't tell you anything though. Associate editor was Dave Walgos. Ben Abernathy editor. So that story was good. The art was pretty solid actually. I was really impressed with that. The next story though is about the Fox family. John Ridley was the writer, Oliver Copel, artist, Matt Hollingsworth, colors, Darren Bennett, letters. And this story was about Catwoman having given the Foxes a lot of Wayne's money, and they're debating on what to do with it. Luke says to give it back, and the others want to keep it for various reasons. They think they're going to be able to rehab the city with $1 billion. That's just not likely. And some clowns invade to try and get the money, and Batwing has to armor up and try and stop them, but things go a little crazy. The art is passable, not good, but passable. I thought this story was lazy. This is really a kind of a quasi setup because it mentions they're bringing Tim home, and Tim is in the Future State storyline, so that's just lazy setup for that, I guess. And you won't know who Tim is even if you're not a huge follower of the Batman stuff, because this isn't really something that's commonly mentioned, that there's another Fox boy. He had been sent away to military school. They don't mention that very often in the Bat books, so I wasn't particularly impressed with that. Next up is an orphan and spoiler story called The Symbol by Joshua Williamson, art by David LaFuente, hi-fi colors, Gabrielle Downey on letters. This story was stupid. There's a character called Henchmaster, which is just the most generic thing I've ever heard, and the ladies go to fight him. They look like Imaginext figures, those weird little 3 to 7 year old toys, and it's very cartoony. It doesn't match the theme of most of the other stories. I don't like the art style to begin with, but it looks very much aimed at like 6 or 7 year olds, and it's kind of written along those lines. It's a really weak story. Then we have a long story called Ashes of Eden about Poison Ivy, written by Sam Johns, Laura Braga, artist, Antonio Fabella, colorist, Tom Napolitano, letters. And this is about Ivy coming back to Eden to find a bunch of clowns there, and she decides to go full evil again while dispatching them. That was a pretty boring story. It was okay. It just really is a setup for some later storyline that I don't care about already. That one took up way too much space for what it was. And lastly, we have Clown Hunt, written by James Tynion IV, James Stokey, artist, Clayton Cowles, letters. And this is about that annoying new kid character, Clown Hunter. It's got this horrible Mad Magazine style art that also doesn't fit with anything else in the book, and it has this really weird look to everything. The story's boring, and the art is just atrocious. It's very European looking, but in a really bad way. And the color scheme works well for what they're going for. I thought that worked, but I hate the art style. I absolutely hate it. It's goofy, non-serious art in a more serious story, and I hate the character Clown Hunter. Overall, I don't really think this is worth $6. This is back issue stuff that you can grab for half the cover price, because really the Joker story at the beginning is hands down the best one, followed by the Fox story, which I really didn't care for all that much. The others were just kind of throwaways. I didn't really care about most of this book, so I would say if you could find it for a couple bucks in a discount bin, go for it that way. If you're paying more than that, get it in an anthology, because it's just not worth it. There's only one really good story and one mediocre story, and the rest is forgettable, nonsensical, or trash. And some of the art is a seriously mixed bag. The Gilliam March art in the Joker story is hands down the best one. The cartoony, goofy Mad Magazine style, I absolutely detest, but the colors were really good. Poison Ivy story had good art, I just didn't like the story. That'll do it for this one. Thank you so much for listening and supporting the channel. If you enjoyed the video, please hit the like button, and don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss future reviews. If you'd like to help the channel email, and otherwise, links to my Patreon, Streamlabs, and Teespring store are in the description, and as always, we hope to see you on the next one.